Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G, trying to review the latest horror film from director Christopher Landon. Yes, the guy that gave us Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day to you and Freaky. Here's his latest one. It is called Drop.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G. Now, Drop is a 2025 American thriller film that was directed by Christopher Landon. It was written by Gillian Jacobs and Chris Roach. Now, the film stars Megan Fahey, Brandon Sky, oh boy, I think it's Sky Lanier. I think I pronounced his name right. Violet Bean, Reed Diamond, and Gabrielle Ryan. Now, in this film, a widowed mother's first date in years takes a terrifying turn when she's bombarded with threatening digidrops on her phone during their upscale dinner, saying that she must either kill her date or her son and sister will die. Ooh. Now, I'm sure many people can remember being on a first date that went horribly wrong or it turned into a disaster. I mean, I'm sure, especially in modern times with all these dating apps that we have right now, where people use them on and then they finally decide to meet them in person, turns out that that person isn't who they said that they were. It's whether the person turns out to be older than they look on their profile picture, or they look heavier in person, or they're younger than what they say they were, or, they forget some other things that they've forgotten or they didn't mention in their profile or during your communication that you have with each other. It always turns out that people have a tendency never to say honestly what they really are. They just try to make themselves look good so that way they can get people to date them. I mean, just imagine growing up in my time when we didn't have dating apps at all. We had to use personal ads in the paper in order if we wanted to do something like this, but we didn't have that during the time that I was growing up, or at the time, I would say during the late 80s and early 90s, especially when I first met Kelly, I put a personal ad in. So I really couldn't really see who she looked out. She didn't know who I looked like. We had to physically describe to each other when we started speaking on the phone before we actually went on the first date. So just imagine how it was back then as it is now. And it's kind of still the same thing because unfortunately, people never really tell the truth. Now, just imagine that you're going out on a first date and everything is going fine. You have great communication, everything is going fine. And all of a sudden, you start receiving these digi drops. Like, what the hell's going on? And eventually, will explain to you that you must kill your date or your children or child will die. Oh, no. No, that's kind of the premise that we have here with American filmmaker Christopher Landon's latest project, a thriller that is simply called Drop. Now, in this film, we're introduced to Violet, a widowed mother who's going on her first date in months to a man named Henry, who she's been communicating with via a dating app. They finally meet at a high rise restaurant, and everything seems to be going fine until she starts receiving digidrops from an unknown user. Now, when the drops become threatening, and then the user shows Violet via the security cameras in her home that an armed assailant is in her house, has knocked out her sister, and threatens to kill her son unless she kills Henry. Ooh, what is Violet going to do? Now, first of all, horror fans, this premise isn't new as we've seen this type of premise used before in other thriller films and TV shows. Now, obviously, the setup is kind of similar. We've seen this before. I remember on the TV show, the first season of 24, they were able to convince Jack Bauer that they actually kidnapped his daughter, and he had to do a series of situations, and had him followed, they had him monitored everywhere, so he couldn't do anything crazy. A similar situation is here, but with modern technology, it's more easier to do than what they did in 24. I think that's what makes this premise interesting is the use of modern technology because especially using security apps where a person can see everything that's happening inside the house. I mean, whether it's the Ring device or I think the Xfinity has an app where you can actually have the app on your phone and it has security cameras where you can link up to the app on your phone and you basically see everything that's happening to your house, whether it's the Ring that actually sees your porch, if you have other cameras all throughout the house, you can actually see what's going on in your house through the app on your phone. And that's this modern technology is what we have now. Now, Landon takes full advantage of this technology as in one shot, which I thought was very decent. While Violet is facing the audience now, she's looking at her phone, but the audience sees her looking at her phone, but the audience sees what she's looking at, and we get some nice shots back in her. And I thought that was really good. I thought that was a great filming style that Landon uses. And I think the reason why it's a decent shot because it places the audience right in the restaurant, creating a tense situation that I'm pretty sure Landon was going for. And I thought that was very brilliant what he did. Now, another thing that Landon does is that when Violet is texting the user or when the user is texting her, we don't get the typical chat features that we normally see in films of the day. We get to see the text in this big bold lettering. And then when to intensify it, it appears in white, but when the danger comes up, that appears in red. And that's something we haven't seen before in thrillers using modern technology. I thought it was a very effective way to instill more danger and suspense in this film. No, I gotta give Landon credit. The setting that he uses is such a nice and lavish place that you would never suspect anything dangerous would be happening here. And I thought it was a very effective place. Now, Megan Fahey, known for her roles in The White Lotus and The Perfect Couple, I think she's pretty good as Violet. Now, she plays Violet as a woman who is still haunted by her past, which we'll discuss later, but shows the right amount of fear in the situation she finds herself in. I mean, she really does a great job in playing this little cat and mouse game that she finds herself in, making sure that Henry stays where he has to stay at, causing distractions, seeing what's going on in the scenes around to see who is doing this to her. She does a great job in displaying those type of emotions. I thought she did a pretty good job. No, she has great chemistry with Brandon Slickner. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Now he's known for his roles in The End with Us with Blake Lively and the Paramount Plus Western series 1923. Now, this film would not work if the two leads don't make the audience believe that these people are on their first date. And both Megan and Brandon do a good job with their presentation. They have great chemistry together because without that, that does become believable and that ruins the atmosphere, that ruins the tension and suspense this film needs. I mean, there is one moment in the film that I like very much where Violet reveals part of her past, and then she asks Henry, why did he select her on the dating app? And even though I won't reveal the answer that he gives, I thought he gave a very decent, honest answer. There's very good writing here. If there's one tiny little flaw or nitpick I have to give the film is when the reason why the user wants Henry killed is revealed, it's really nothing earth shattering. It's kind of bit predictable. Even when we find out who that person is, it's kind of bit predictable. But I did love the cat and mouse that Violet has with this person. It's very still effective, even though it's a bit predictable. Then we have some exciting stuff that happens in the third act of the film. Again, nothing great, but because you were so invested with Violet and the character, we are pulling for her to do to get what she needs to get to, so that way she gets to save her sister and her son. Now, there are some funny moments that take place throughout the film as well. Some great interaction between Violet and her sister Jen. Her interactions with the other patrons in the restaurant, which is not surprising. As I stated before, this is the man that gave us Happy Death Day, its sequel, Happy Death Day to You, and Freaky, which were all very decent, funny, and very competent horror films. So Landon, along with screenwriters Gillian Jacobs and Chris Ross, has given us a very effective and decent thriller with great acting from the leads, decent atmosphere, and some great tension and suspense that you need for a film like this. I really did enjoy this one. So I'm going to give Drop 3 out of my 5 Bloody Cold Coins. Like I said, really did enjoy this one. Like I said, we have great acting from Megan and Brendan, some great cat and mouse going on between Violet, but she tries to figure out who's doing this to her. We have some funny moments, very good and effective thriller. You got to check it out. Really did enjoy Drop. So there you have it, horror fans. That is my video and review of Drop. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Drop? What do you thought about it? Did you enjoy it as good as I did? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And the comment section. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. And I see you in my next video. That guy stay safe out there.